Hey everyone, so I just came across this absolutely fascinating take from an XRP chart analyst who's basically saying that XRP sellers are completely tapped out right now. And honestly, I'm really hoping that prediction hits because let's be real, we'd all love to see this thing rocket back up, and I genuinely believe we're going to get there eventually. Here's what's super interesting though. I've been diving deep into what tons of chart analysts are saying, and there's this wild uncertainty in the super short term about whether we've actually hit rock bottom. You know what I mean? Like, are we done with the pain and ready to moon, or do we have to endure just one more tiny little dip before we blast off? But here's the exciting part that's got me pumped, and I'm not even kidding about this. The overwhelming consensus from every single analyst I follow is that this bull run is absolutely not done. We are legitimately so close to everything lining up perfectly for that final euphoric, parabolic, mind-blowing blow-off phase that everyone talks about. Like, we are right there, people. This is basically what every analyst I trust is saying, and that gets me hyped. But before I get too carried away here, I gotta be crystal clear about something important. I don't have any financial background whatsoever. I'm not giving financial advice, and you definitely shouldn't buy or sell anything based on what I'm telling you right now. All right, so as I'm recording this, XRP is sitting at $2.94. Bitcoin's hanging out at $113,736. We're down a bit from XRP's 24-hour high of $3.10, but maybe we've found our floor. Let me break that down for you in just a second. First, though, I wanted to show you this. So check this out. This is a post from Willie Woo, and this guy is literally one of the most legendary chart analysts in the entire crypto space. I mean, he's been grinding in this game for so long, and honestly, his track record is pretty solid overall. Now, I gotta be real with you. He's got that hardcore Bitcoin maximalist vibe going on, which honestly kind of rubs me the wrong way sometimes. But you know what? I can't argue with the quality of analysis this dude puts out there for everyone to see. So he dropped this post saying, in case anyone needs intestinal fortification after the past week, and then he shared something that should totally ease your mind because it really is reassuring. This is just one of many incredible signals I've been shouting about on this channel from all these different analysts, and they're all pointing to the same thing. The absolute best is still coming our way. Listen up. We are not in some terrifying bear market situation. Trust me on this. When we actually start seeing those gnarly red flags popping up everywhere, and they will show up eventually, that's just how this works. When we start seeing all those classic top indicators rolling in one after another, I promise you, I will be all over that content on this channel. I'll be screaming from the rooftops, warning everyone like, hey guys, we're either at the peak or super close to it. And you're absolutely going to want that information because it's going to completely change how we play this game and how we feel about everything that's happening around us. You got it. So I'm going to keep breaking this down for you because we are definitely not at that scary point yet. And check out what Willie shared. He reposted this absolute gem from Bitcoin Vector, and it's this chart called Bitcoin Risk Off Signal plus Risk Oscillator. Here's what it says, and this is huge. As long as risk signals remain stable, drawdowns are opportunities, not threats. The last corrections have not triggered a high-risk regime. Today's environment still favors buy the dip, not trend reversal. And guys, I cannot stress this enough. This perspective is exactly what I keep seeing from literally every single chart analyst I've handpicked to follow. Like, I'm racking my brain right now trying to think of even one exception, and I honestly can't come up with a single analyst who disagrees with this. Listen, when you've got this many incredibly talented analysts all saying the exact same thing, they're almost always spot on. These aren't some random weekend warriors with questionable track records we're talking about here, okay? These are seasoned professionals who've been crushing it in this space for years. All right, so here's a really interesting post from chart analyst Credible Crypto that I wanted to break down for you guys. He's talking about this key level that Bitcoin needs to hold, and he's pointing to around $112,000 right here. Now, this isn't something we need to panic about or anything, but someone actually asked him a really good question that got me thinking. So this person hit him up and said, listen, since we don't really have any clear reversal signals yet, does the lower time frame price action suggest we're going to see more choppy movement or maybe a slight drawdown over the next month or two? kind of like what happened last August and September. And Credible Crypto's response was pretty straightforward. He basically said, yeah, more chop. But here's what's got me really excited. He mentioned he's planning to dive way deeper into this in an upcoming YouTube video, and I am absolutely going to be glued to my screen the second he drops that content. But here's the thing that's really interesting. He's basically suggesting we're going to be moving sideways for a while. And to me, that sounds like he's at least acknowledging that it's totally possible we've already hit the bottom, which lines up perfectly with what he was saying just the other day. So yeah, it's definitely possible we're done with the worst of it. The real question is just how confident we should be about that, and honestly, what I'm seeing from most analysts who are weighing in on this is basically a coin flip situation right now. So here's another post from Crypto Insight UK that I think perfectly captures what's going on right now. And honestly, his perspective is totally reasonable and lines up with everything else we've been talking about. Look, if you're not seeing rock solid signals in the charts you're analyzing, sometimes the most honest and accurate answer is simply, hey, I'm not totally sure what's going to happen in the very short term. But here's the key part. That doesn't mean the bigger picture is broken at all. So Crypto Insight UK dropped this gem where he said, I've been saying for a while, I am unsure on what comes next. We have liquidity below our local lows for most altcoins and even for Bitcoin. Having said this, structurally, we could argue we might have bottomed. But then he adds this really important caveat. Even if this is the case, on each previous bottom, we either double tap the lows or retrace a lot of the original push, something to watch on total. And he's showing the charting screen for the total crypto asset class by market cap. This is just such a perfect example of what I keep seeing everywhere I look. It's totally possible we've hit the bottom. Are we 100% certain? Nope, definitely not. But there's a really solid chance we have. And here's what I love about this whole situation. Either way, this is not the time to be running around scared out of our minds. All right, here's another really insightful post from chart analyst Dom that I think you guys are going to find super helpful. He's looking at the total 3 chart, which is basically the entire crypto market minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, and his analysis is spot on. So Dom drops this update saying, here's a cleaned up view of the level we've been watching over the last 2 weeks. We tagged the 930 billion mark and saw a reaction, but overall, I think this is a very important level to hold. And then he makes this crucial point. Look at how much respect this chart has shown for this level over the entire last year. He's basically saying that losing this level would be major backwards progress. So we're definitely at one of those make or break moments right now. Now, if this level doesn't hold, yeah, we could potentially see a more dramatic pullback. But here's the thing. I'm not seeing tons of analysts actually predicting that's going to happen. In fact, Credible Crypto just dropped some knowledge that should seriously help people chill out and stop panicking. He basically said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that for the higher time frame price action to actually break, the big picture stuff that would mean the charts are completely destroyed and we're heading into bear market territory, Bitcoin would have to drop below $74,000. Anything above that point wouldn't even break the higher time frame structure. So maybe, just maybe, we don't need to be losing sleep over this. We're sitting close to $114,000 for Bitcoin as I'm recording this, and Bitcoin leads the entire crypto market. So from his perspective, there's absolutely nothing happening right now that should have us hitting the panic button. Okay, this next post from chart analyst Mustache is absolutely mind-blowing, and I think this is going to get you as hyped as it got me. So he's looking at the Others BTC pair, which is super interesting because Others shows the top 125 coins by market cap, but it excludes the top 10. So basically, it's showing us what all the other altcoins are doing as a group. It's like the perfect snapshot of the general alt market. And here's what's absolutely fascinating. You can see that Others has just been getting absolutely crushed against Bitcoin for the last several years. Like, look at this chart. It's just been falling down this slope for years. But here's where Mustache drops the bombshell. He's pointing out that this is forming a falling wedge pattern, and these things eventually have to break. So he writes this epic reminder. Altcoins. Friendly reminder that altcoins have been sitting in a falling wedge for more than 4 years. Once this thing breaks out, there's no going back. And then he hits us with this absolute fire line. You're not bullish enough. So my friends, this absolutely makes perfect sense when you look at the historical patterns, right? Because we know, and I mean, we absolutely know that we get these insane blow off tops literally every single 4 years. Every single time going back to the great financial crisis, there's been this rock solid 4-year cyclical pattern happening, and it all ties back to debt refinancing cycles. And I got to give major props to Raoul Paul here because he's talked about this stuff intensively and in incredible detail. That's exactly how I learned about it and why I've been sharing it with you guys on this channel. So huge hat tip to him for breaking this down. But here's the kicker. There's absolutely no sign whatsoever that this pattern is changing, like none. Zero. This cycle is still intact and running like clockwork. So what we're seeing right now, this is exactly the kind of behavior you would totally expect right before that massive breakout happens. This is textbook setup stuff right here. Listen up. The absolute best is still ahead of us. We are not done, not even close, and trust me, the second we actually are done with this run, I will be screaming it from the rooftops and letting every single one of you know immediately. But right now, we are absolutely not done moving to the upside, folks. This train is still picking up steam. So check this out. I just saw this absolutely wild post from Nagentropic this morning. And if you don't know who they are, these are literally the masterminds behind Glassnode, the on-chain analytics powerhouse that I'm absolutely obsessed with. They dropped this bombshell saying we're about to dive headfirst into the send everything zone. And guys, when I tell you that means every single chart is about to go absolutely bonkers to the upside, I mean it. This is when the magic happens, people. Picture this. There's going to be this crazy window where literally everyone becomes a trading wizard overnight. Like seriously, you could throw a dart at a board blindfolded and whatever you hit is going to moon. It's actually hilarious because you could actively try to pick losers and you'd still end up making bank. But here's the reality check though. This golden period, it's amazing while it lasts, but it's also temporary as heck because eventually that euphoria bubble gets way too big and pop. Reality comes crashing back down faster than you can say diamond hands. So Chart Analyst Cryptos dropped this fire update earlier. XRP just smashed back above that blue resistance line on the 4-hour, sitting pretty at around $3.05 when he posted it. His take, as long as we can hodl above this level, we're looking at a beautiful ride up to $3.14. Now, sure, we've pulled back a tiny bit since then, but here's where it gets interesting. Chart analyst Casey Trades is keeping it totally chill about this pullback. And honestly, I'm loving his perspective because he's calling this movement perfectly healthy. And get this, he thinks we might have already found our bottom. Casey just posted this insane analysis on the XRP USD chart, and I'm telling you, this gave me chills. He's calling it a critical XRP retest at $2.96. The market holds its breath. Like, come on, that's some Hollywood level drama right there. But seriously, XRP is dancing around this massive support zone at $2.96, which lines up perfectly with the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement. And we're talking both locally and on the macro scale. This is literally the make or break moment. And here's what's blowing my mind. Doesn't this sound exactly like what Dom was saying about Total 3? Same energy, same critical support vibes. It's like the entire crypto universe is moving in perfect harmony right now. Casey's breaking it down perfectly here, and honestly, this is giving me goosebumps. She's basically saying this 296 support level is everything right now. Like, if XRP can flex its muscles and stay strong at this level, we're golden. It means this whole pullback was just the market taking a healthy breather before the next leg up. This certain 2 other members enjoying this. But here's the flip side, and Casey's keeping it real with us. If this level starts crumbling like a house of cards, we might be looking at some serious momentum breakdown, and then we'd have to completely rethink our master plan. And they need 2,000 burst since 6Ds. Now check this out. The technical stuff is getting spicy. The RSI is literally trying to paint us a beautiful bullish divergence picture on the smaller time frames. And that's like the market's way of winking at us saying, hey, we got this. It's showing serious signs that we're going to hold this make or break 296 level. And guys, this is where it gets absolutely wild. We're trading at 294 right now as I'm recording this. This is literally the lowest XRP has been in the past 24 hours. We are living in this crucial moment in real time. But wait, there's more. Casey dropped this absolute gem about 5 hours ago when we hit 297. She simply wrote, selling is exhausted. And that hit me like a lightning bolt. She's basically saying, we've run out of sellers, folks. That's on all that leg. So many things that we are intentionally of exciting that summer. So she's definitely feeling optimistic that we've likely hit the bottom, you know? And someone actually asked, I mean, literally wrote, does this mean it is bottomed? And her response was, yes, we're getting signs it has bottomed, but we don't have confirmation yet. It needs to hold and ideally start breaking upper resistances. There are tons of levels to watch, and I've been discussing this, including just yesterday, actually. There are loads of analysts pointing out, hey, here are the levels we need to push through. And they're highlighting where those potential sell walls are sitting. But listen, big picture, it's simply a matter of time, folks. So maybe we've reached the point where sellers are tired enough that we won't see a more dramatic dip than what we've already witnessed at the time I'm recording this. I'm just letting you know that even if we do slide lower, which definitely could happen, it won't change the big picture of what's unfolding here. And that's truly the biggest takeaway you need right now, because you're looking for the answer, right? That's what I'm after too. And sure, nobody knows with complete certainty, but you're seeking that answer. Are we actually going to get that epic blow off top or not? And I think the odds strongly suggest, yes, it's absolutely still coming. Nothing has fundamentally broken here. This is just typical volatility I've been watching happen live since I first dove into crypto back in November 2017. We're right here, but this is really a moment to feel pumped, not worried. I'm not a financial advisor, obviously. You definitely shouldn't buy or sell anything based on what I'm telling you, all right? That would be an extremely, extremely, extremely foolish idea.